Just want to show you this guy, guys. The key to a really good paint, and what I found, and some of the research I did a number of years ago with when I was first learning ZBrush, is the key to the good paint is good UV maps. And I want to show you like something that I do that often helps is when you're dealing with seams. And so one of the big problems with electric image and people starting to use electric image is that we would get these seams, and these seams were from AUVs and GUVs. But when you have, which, let me explain about AUVs, adaptive UV mapping. It's a great way to map, but electric image doesn't have a lot of the automatic seam fixing type of things with UVs or UV smoothings and things of that sort. So GUVs were better than UVs because AUVs because it gave you more space and less seams. And UV mapping, when you do your own custom UV mapping, and some of what I have seen still from a lot of the professionals are still doing traditional UV mapping, even though they have pelting tools. Now, pelting tools are a great way, and the new UV tools are also great because they allow you to just cut a seam, and then it'll actually or unfold those seams, and create one shell. And a shell is a continuous connected face of UVs, or continuous UV faces. Okay, UV coordinates. So here we have this. We have continuous, and often what I'll do is, even though you'll get something here. Sorry, I was watching. Listen to iTunes. Here, even though you get a seam here, okay, this is what it's gonna be here. Okay, but even though you get a seam here, and I just cut this seam here, which relates to here. Okay, and some of the seams you can't avoid, like this, to keep this flat. And basically what you're doing when you UVs and when you see this is to keep even tone grid throughout the whole thing. And as you can see, my parts are all even. This isn't very even, but you can tell because of the size of the scale of it here compared to here. Now, if I wanted to, I could scale it down and things of that sort. But my texture space is basically going to handle it. Basically because my I'll have a pretty large texture, and it should be good enough, especially with this not being such a high resolution detailed character. What level I decide to actually take that, I haven't decided as far as what it's going to be. But as you can see here, in a case like this, more texture space here gives it more density of how much texture space. So electric image doesn't do multiple texture spaces, which is the solution, and this is why people ask for it. But here you can still pretty much, if you fit all your UVs into the 0 to 1 texture space, it should work fine. And also work from 0 to 1. This is 0 here to 1. Don't, the whole UV grid, this parts of these repeat. Don't use this space. Just use this because this is what electric image understands. And this is why we don't have auto UVs. Auto UVs that load in because either electric image understands this 0 point as 0.5. So at most you should have to knock in a 0.5 in both the X and Y, but pretty much it should fit automatically, or even if you select 0. So anyway, I'm starting to go off on a lot of details, which would be better to demonstrate. So what I was trying to demonstrate here is this right here, is that even though electric image has problems with seams, you can set your UVs so that your seams can line up. And this actually has to do with your UV editing. And so I'll straighten the borders lots of times. I'll take these borders. Now I could have cut this directly in half and place these two edges, which would represent this side here, and put them together like that. Okay, and then go ahead and let's see, make sure they kind of line up better. And then what I'll do is take them and mend them back together. There's something underneath there that's getting caught. I'll just go here. Okay, and sew them back together. Okay, and so now as you can see here, that seam is gone. Of course, this is here because that's the one I use to separate from here. And so now you can see how smoothly it comes together. But you can take it an extra step. Since I'm not going to be painting it like that, I'm going to put this back on the other side. What I'll do is take this area here. You can see just how these, where I had that seam, it kind of runs up there and runs up that way in a diagonal direction. Well, I can also smooth that out. So if I smooth it out, then it's perfectly smooth here. Now, when I go back and cut this seam back here, and this tool, Maya, is actually missing. Used to have a contiguous edge selection mode. Oh, there, no, and it's gone, and I can't. It used to be here. I have an edge loop. Doesn't work. Anyway, I gotta do this the hard way. They're missing there used to be a tool for this. Oops. I'm not getting anything. Okay, anyway, so for some reason that's goofing up. And I got it back. Okay. So it used to be that I could select contiguous edge and it would stop where it hits this border here. But they're missing a tool. It used to be there. And it's in the other versions, but it's not there now. And I looked all over for it, so I know it's not there. But I'm going to cut this back off. And then select this 2 shell and take it and put it back over here. And so now I know that these edges, you can see it here, that these edges are perfectly edged up. And so when I go back here, and I'll just put these back here and sew them back together. Okay, so that's how I know that I'm not gonna have seam problems. It just, maybe it's a more tedious process, and this is the part where I try to tell people in production that UVs are a lot more sophisticated than what we often realize. But that's the real art of it. I mean, that's what really will make this particular, I can say this, I know that these are edged up perfectly, and no matter what, I'm not going to get a seam. So you can do that with every single edge on here and know that those edges will flow together. Now, of course, there's some of them I skip. There's some hiding things that you can do. If you hide it underneath there, it's not going to be prominent anyway. Or like here, you're not going to be looking at the back of his neck most of the time. And even if I don't edge them up, it's just not really going to be a huge thing. If you're going to see anything, you're going to probably see this here. He's going to have a hat on as well. So these aren't going to be a concern. Stuff that's in the inside of his mouth, I don't even, I don't concern about. His feet and things like that. His hands, the flat, big, plain areas. So this is what they mean by designing your UVs. This area is going to be seen, so sometimes you also get lucky. You can't always, you could actually edge your models. When you model, you can actually think about UV editing. So, but with this, the way I UV this is that this big flat area, which is the chest, he's going to have a shell. You're not going to see it, but it's just good it's good practice to just be aware of those things. Under the armpits and things like that. The inner arms are where I often put the seams on the arms. The outer arms is what you can see. There's no seam there. Again, the bottom of the tail as opposed to the top of the tail. Yes, I can match this off, and I probably will. I can probably kill this seam right here. And so I could take that and probably go ahead and straighten that out, and that probably won't be a problem. So what I'm saying is that, the way you design your UVs has everything to do with how your UV model. So it's allergy time again, folks. It's starting up now. Today is officially allergy day for me. So here we go. I know I have a flu at least, right? Anyway, alright, so I just wanted to show you that.